Alright, so we just finished up cleaning up the headset. So as you can see, the chrome no longer has that rust on there. So what we did is we tossed this in with the batch of the acid with the frame. So all the steel parts that had rust on it, all the rust is gone. As far as aluminum stuff, acid's a little too gnarly for it, so we didn't throw it in. What I did is I took some of our alcohol spray, just isopropyl alcohol, put it on a nice clean rag, wiped it down. It did not take down the print, so it's good to keep noted. Same thing with the bearings. Nice clean rag, some alcohol, and just give it a good old wipe down. You don't have to go too gnarly and warp the bearings, just be nice and gentle with it. And repeat that with kind of everything. We have the spring, fancy little keeper, and you can see not too much wear. Still looks damn near brand new. So that's all gonna go together pretty nicely. Should look pretty sick.
Okay, as you guys can see, all the little parts are clean. We clean as much as possible. The bearings. Some of this stuff is like surface cosmetic. Look at all these nuts and bolts, all clean. The brake lever, we're gonna just order a new one because this thing is not worth repainting. I mean, I could probably repaint it and put the sticker on it, but you can still get these things new. The owner says it's not a big deal. If you look at the brakes, super clean. All this right here, look, clean it all up. The sprocket is a little bit mixed feelings. You can see how the paint's blistered. The one thing is that this was what came on the bike. It doesn't have any GT engraved here. The GT, this is where the value is. If this had GT engraved in it, I would highly suggest to redo it. The paint's blistered. Customer said, hey, why don't we paint it? Well, if you paint it, all this is gonna be painted, it's not gonna look right. And all this, so better yet, you can anodize it. I told him to use the other side. He didn't want to do it because it's a little cut. So the customer, this is his bike, this is what he wanted. He goes, you know what, just leave it like that. Sometimes we'll get like the razor blade, the edge, and we'll go and we'll scrape some of the ends, like inside. We'll get it out. That's all it is. That's all it is. You know, nowhere in here do we possess anything, any beyond skill. It's just a matter of us willing to do it. Customer wants us to do it, you know, because they don't have the time. I'm pretty sure a lot of my customer could do it. They just don't have the time. One of the first things I'm gonna do is, you guys have seen it. Some of you guys frown on it. Stop frowning. Makes you look ugly. The sticker right here is still good. So sometimes we clamp right here, we have a rag, but I don't want it to move and then peel this off. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to put this thing on. I'm gonna clamp it on the seat post. Yes, there's already grease inside. So we're gonna go ahead and do this, tighten this guy up, and we're just gonna clamp it down on the seat post. Seat post, there's no sticker on it. If there was, we would go and put a little bit of care into that. Sometimes, you know what, we actually peel off the sticker. I'm just gonna go ahead and set it like that for now because this thing's a little loose. Fork's excellent. You can see there's already grease in here. Everything else now is just stuff that I constantly been saying, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it and shut up. Bet some of you guys like that, huh? I know my kids do. One at a time, guys. One at a time. Yeah, you guys don't know, but when we film this, a lot of time we film it during business hours. We're helping customers and everything. A decent amount of grease. Just to let you guys know, sometimes I'll put like that much grease. Kind of like, I literally have fun with this. It's kind of like art time. And then what I do is I just push the bearing in to this grease.
We're gonna plop these guys into the top and bottom. Make sure to squeeze it in there. All that grease is gonna ooze out. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of extra grease, kind of fill that cavity. The unsealed bearings, you almost can't go wrong with too much grease. all that little space between the ball bearings. Fill it up with grease.
So don't forget that race on there. When we were soaking it, we never took this out. If I don't have to take it out, I'm not gonna take it out. Some of you guys are like, yeah, you should. But guys, every single time you take this in and out, it gets weaker and weaker. This little plastic piece right here goes over. If you notice, one side is smooth, one side's flat. The dome part with the indent, it goes upside down, and it locks into that lower race, and it sits flush. I don't put a lot of grease because there's already it there. The frame is right. Get this guy right into here and make sure everything's snug.
We got our upper here. There's already some grease on there. Make sure the threads are lubricated so this doesn't get seized onto there.
All this grease, guys, you guys could wipe all this off.
Thread this bad boy on.
And it's going in really smooth because when we were washing it, we wire brushed the thread and then well lubed it.
Okay, so now that's all together. We're gonna take a rag, pretty much whatever extra right here, give it a little wipe, make sure it's not oozing out. You can see everything down here is seated. Nothing came undone. Sometimes what happens is it kind of comes undone, you're tightening it down, crushing the bearing. So make sure everything's seated well, nice snug.
We're gonna rotate this guy.
So now the fancy part with this headset. If I'm correct, this is the Epoch, correct?
That is what's made this thing special. Now, you guys might be wondering, what is that spring? So if you guys notice, a lot of the fork that comes stock, a lot of time when you turn it, it's kind of start loosening itself up and you get in that loose headset. Well, what this thing does is that the spring, whenever you turn it, it comes loose, the spring tightens it back up.
So we got two little notches here. The inner notch is gonna line up with your fork. So you're gonna slide that in right there. And what you're gonna do, this is where it gets tricky, is you're actually gonna rotate the spring. That's what's gonna help keep tension on that upper race piece.
You almost can't go wrong. And that's it.
And that's
it just drops right in. This little fancy guy right here, what is this for?
Just a dust seal, just to cover, make it look cool.
Yep. So it just keeps dirt, rocks, and out of this, but this right here, not really, okay? Look. You know, no play because this is all hand tightened. That little piece that Max put in is hand tightened, the spring locks it in. If you have to put a wrench on that, I'm sorry, that is way too tight. Okay, this also hand tight.
All right, we got our last final pieces here. So we have this little lock washer right here. Once again, we have that little tiny notch that's gonna line up with the fork. What that's gonna do, it's gonna help keep this lock nut in from biting into that fancy top piece. Last but not least, lock nut. Throw that on. And this should be the one thing that you should actually tighten with a wrench. So we're gonna grab our fancy Park tool wrench. And we're going to give that a nice snug tighten. You can see, still spins good, no play.
So now if you go in and you look at the crank, we're gonna stick with the one-piece crank. I think it's really cool that the Power Series word is still there. Now if you guys look, it comes with the ultralight seal bearing. These are really, really hard to find. You guys gotta be extra careful because the cup is plastic. Although it's nostalgic, it's kind of dumb. Because the plastic is gonna break, it's gonna deteriorate. But it is what it is. Now the bearing itself, both of the bearings are exactly the same. These guys right here, if you look at it, what looks to be exactly the same is actually not the same. One goes on the sprocket side, one goes out. How can you tell? First of all, let's say you pick one up. See how this one threads on? Okay, check this out. This slides on and it slides through. This thing is slightly bigger than this, so this is on the inside. So I'm gonna put a little bit of grease. Max is right. I didn't put the sprocket on, but I'm still gonna grease this. Okay, pull this guy out. Put the sprocket on. Just weave it through. snug. This one right here is not gonna go in this way because this little collar is gonna sit inside the bearing. Now this one right here, unlike the headset, you want to snug this thing up with a wrench. If I am correct, 32. Snug this guy up. All these grease right here, even though they're steel bearing, is to prevent creaking. Now, you guys have your own way of doing it. I'm gonna do it this way, because this is the way I've done it, that it's the safest. I'm going to put the bearings in. I'll be real, you guys, I'm scared. I'm scared of this plastic housing right here. I'm afraid it's going to chip or break. So I'm a little bit stressed. Put this guy in. And look at this. I can push it in by hand. Kind of give it a little tap. Okay.
All right, now we got the next two pieces. Bearing cup and the bearing itself. Slide these bad boys in. And then what we could do is we could use this little lock nut right here to help compress everything together.
Now, if any of you guys are out there that are feeling faint because we're not doing it the way you're doing it, it's all right.
All right, so we're just using that lock nut to kind of compress everything together. Spinning around, kind of keeping it on the bearing, making sure you're not over compressing. So that's snug right there. See, still real smooth. We got our lock washer here. Once again, that little tab you're gonna line up with the crank arm slot. Bam. And then we got one last final lock nut, greasing up that face so it slides on that washer. Give this a final snug. There we go. She's in.
Next up is the stem. Again, real simple. I didn't go send this to the polisher because I appreciate these lines a little bit more than most people. Most people out there, they like to shine, but when you shine it, you're gonna lose all these edges. Okay, all this right here, if you guys ever work on these things are always seizing up. Okay? That's because inside there it gets rusted. Some of you guys might be like, hey, you know what? Don't lube that, it's gonna slip. It won't slip. Okay? It'll slip regardless whether you're gonna put grease on it or not. The grease isn't what causing it to slip. Now, the height of this thing right here, there is a little marking. See that little cut? That is the highest you want to go. But for me, the way I like building it, I like to build it where it's not necessarily sitting down here, but maybe about an inch up. Just give it that little look. I'm just using this ginormous thing just to give it a little snug. But I'm not going to tighten it down until I get the wheels on. I'll use the right thing. The cap, there's really no way. Get this thing center. I know some of you guys feel different, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Would you guys have a re-chrome the whole thing? Or would you be satisfied with what has been done? Just basically a mild acid wash and just clean. Or you guys would have just gone, you know what? I would have gone the whole 9 yards and just have the chrome stripped and redone. I think with this customer, it's not a matter of money. He asked me, I said personally, I don't mind these little pits because it is an aged frame. The original sticker, the original detail means more to me than the shine. So I would rather leave it like that. And he said, cool, I want to do what you would do to your own bike. Next step is we are going to put on here are the wheels has been relaced. New spokes, the rim itself, the customer did not want the rims to be polished because he said it would not look original. He does appreciate the patina on it. You guys remember the freewheel was all seized up. The acid wash did kind of freeze it back up, but if you notice, we went and we lubed it up. So we're gonna find out if this thing's gonna free up. Let's put our whip tool on. Ugh. Moment of truth. Not bad, not bad. There you go.
Tire going on, using Comp 3 175, pretty much as close as we could get to the original per the customer's request.
Double check both sides to see the bead comes out, because you guys know sometimes you guys putting this on, and while you guys are putting on the other side, the bead's popping out. It's gonna blow up. Okay, we're gonna air this guy out at about 65 psi, because that's about as far as it goes. Put this guy on. I'm just gonna kind of hand snug this, but I am going to center it. You guys will know this chain was rusted. The customer is like, no, whatever I could save on here, I want to save. So I appreciate the customer asking me, do I feel that it's mechanically sound, you know? I go, yeah, of course. You know, it'll hold up. Even with the cosmetic rust, it'll still hold up. Some of you guys might say, oh, no way. It would have snapped. Case by case, this one, it was just surface. Now, chain breaker. In one of my videos, I show how I put it. You guys just don't tighten this thing down. I like to hold it down so it doesn't walk upward. Once I feel that the pin goes in, I'll take a peep, see the other side line up. It should go in. I'm gonna see the other side kind of poke over just a little bit. Then what I like to do is I like to give it a little bit of bend. Careful, watch your finger. On. Chain snug. I'm not tying this thing down super tight. As you can see, Max is finishing up the front. A lot of the stuff is just snug, guys. After we get everything dialed, the first thing that I'm actually gonna lock down is the brakes. Once the brake is locked down, we're gonna lock down the wheel because those two stuff are together. Then once that's there, we're gonna make sure this is snug. You snugged this down, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, but we're gonna double check it. Then we're gonna snug this thing down because when you sit down, you get a better angle of it. Seat, all that, but you get the point. Here's the brakes. I gotta tell you, I hate these brakes. I prefer some of the newer ones. It's got this little GT thing, this original piece. Max, why don't you go throw those on?
All right, first things first, our favorite thing, lube. Nice healthy layer, not too much, not too little. Then we play a guessing game on which arm we pulled and which spring lines up with it.
All right, guys. Got real busy. We actually finished putting the bike together. We did the brakes and all that. Totally forgot to film it because, you know, we're professional like that. We're gonna go ahead and put these Amy's on, but the clear one is coming later. Pretty much it. I don't know, you guys check out the bike, see what you guys think. There's before and after. So here's a fun fact for you guys. We actually do a lot of these, but we always forget to film it. So we'll start filming and next thing you know, we forget. And then we're like, oh, dude. So Megan was actually the one that remembered. She goes, hey, are we gonna finish? And we're like, oh, dude, that's right. Pretty much everything. Again, just wash with acid, stripped. Again, the cranks. Just refer to the beginning of the video. Everything's all good, man. Like how it turned out. And I gotta get back to work.